What it do? How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Hey man, blessed, black, highly favored.
Ain't gonna complain. Why?
Ain't nobody care about it if you complain.
Yeah, either.
Yeah, so we gonna jump to it. So why is that when a man criticizes for a woman, it makes him fear her, but when a woman criticizes a man, it makes her cheer for her?
Say that one more time. Say it
Let me
one
say
again.
it again. Why is that when a man criticizes a woman, it makes us fear for her, but when a woman criticizes a man, it makes us cheer for her?
Okay, so when a man criticizes a woman, it makes you guys fear for us,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when
Like people usually like fear the man, but when a woman criticizes a man, they cheer for her. Basically, like I'm saying.
I'm okay. So okay, we're gonna say a scenario. If you saying basically if you and your friend was together and one of your friends criticized his woman, that
Yeah,
he would get basically you saying chewed out.
yeah,
But if it was the other way around, the man wouldn't chew the woman out.
yeah. Basically, like if a man criticizes a woman, we fear or whatever. But when a woman do it, we cheer for her, like saying like, that's good. You got on his ass, basically. I'm probably asking it wrong
No,
right now or something.
no.
But
Well, let me go ahead and answer the first part. First of all, a woman feel like a man is their protector. So if you're gonna criticize her behind closed doors. So 9 to 10, sometimes they criticize her in front of other people, and that gives they that makes them want to go off because after they'll feel like, well, you should have did this at home.
mm, okay,
Now
okay.
that's on the man part, but on the women part, you said once we do it, it's feel like not all the time, but sometimes some women, some men also as the head of the household step over their boundaries. So sometimes when women speak up, we do get that cheer because sometimes it should have been said because he's like stepping over his boundaries as a man.
Right, okay.
And it's all
Why?
right, but
Mm-hmm. Why you think for the most part women look at men as unpaid bodyguards?
I mean they're our protector. That's their job is to protect us, to
What
shield, protect
protect them from what though?
whatever.
Mm.
Her broken
So random women or just they woman though? Because I feel like I shouldn't have to be like a bodyguard for my woman though. Me personally, because what does she need protection from? Because if anything happens, they gonna come after me first anyways, and not you.
But when you're saying protect, you're talking about two different protect. Are you talking about love protection? Because that's two different protecting her heart, protecting her, or just protecting her well-being. See, those two different protections.
Well, see, that's a good way you broke it down. I'm talking about their well being because they was like, I want somebody to protect me from danger. And I'm like, wait a minute, y'all supposed to be protecting each other. I thought both in both ways
It
from
does.
well being.
It does go. It does supposed to go both ways. But when I think of my someone or my man protecting me, it means that when someone that even in his family speak out of turns to me, he corrected. That's protecting me. Or when something happened that he should step in and he take care of his part. That's protecting me. That's protect. I mean, I feel like I'm looking at it as the love part of protection, not as always fighting and that. I'm not looking at the fighting protection, but I'm looking at the love protection. That would be his job.
Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on the women who put men in those dangerous positions where they supposed to fight for them and put it on the line, and they end up going to jail and doing time and just being goofball and shit? Like, what's your thoughts on that right there?
First of all, honestly, if you love someone, you wouldn't have to put nothing on the line for them to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you put yourself or them in that situation to go to jail if you love them?
What's your thoughts on this term "ride or die"?
That's some bullshit they came up with.
I think it came from rap music though. But go ahead, go ahead.
I mean, back in the day, ride or die mean that the man was the head of the household. The woman took care of her part. He took it. That's ride or die to the end. Now they take it different. Ride or die mean if he go out and he finna shoot it up the club, then she in the back seat, she shooting up the club too. She gonna ride and die with him.
I don't want to ride or die. I want to ride and live. I don't want nobody who gonna die for me, kill for me. I don't want nobody doing nothing criminal for me. Hell no.
See, that's oh,
That means you ain't got nothing to lose. I want you to live for something. What the hell you putting it all on the line for?
hey, you got some people that'll put it on the line just to prove it to others, just to
That
show
don't
I
mean.
can do it.
Do you believe it? Do you believe if somebody dies for you, they love you?
Why would somebody have to die for me?
Mm.
I wouldn't put anyone in a situation that I love in a situation where they, or try to be in a situation or around anything where they have to die for me. I don't want to lose them just like they don't want to lose me. So no, I wouldn't put them in a situation to even be in that situation. But I feel if somebody died for me, that's a choice they made.
Mm. Right, right,
You
right.
know,
Okay.
I wouldn't ask no one to go die for me. If you died for me, that was a choice that you made.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. How much do you think the rap music influenced the like black folks and sort of like dating? How much did music influence people like for the negative part though? Like,
95%. 95%. It's the lifestyle. It's what people think it giving them a persona of how things supposed to be. You know, you gotta live this way and we gotta dress this way and we gotta do things this way in order to get these things. You know, it's a persona it gives off. It gives off a persona.
right, right, because you know, it's so bad because people be using quotes and stuff in rap songs that ain't even true. Like they say, more money, more problems. I don't believe that bullshit. I believe more money, more solutions, more money, more purpose. And people run with that, you know, more money, more problems. You know what I'm saying? Like that's an example right there. Black people just took that and ran with it. You see what I'm saying?
I feel like more money, the more money you have, they say more problems, but I feel if you have the money and know how to control it, your mind is already set on what you want to do with it, it's no problem. Because you're gonna do what you set out to do. But when you're not, your mind is not there, your money can cause problems for you.
Uh, right, right, okay. And when you say music influence people, which I think it does for the negative sometimes. Why do you think everybody hang on every word a rapper say or their favorite celebrity influencer say though?
Because that's how society is now.
Hmm.
It's what they see,
Right.
what they hear. Because you know when I was younger, it was what we was taught. It's what we knew. We knew
Right.
right from wrong. We was taught certain things. Now the TVs, the telephones, the videos, it's teaching our kids different things. So that's what they see.
Hmm.
What they think is that's what they think is it. That's what they think is life. Whatever they see on TV and cell phones, that's life. So that's how I feel.
Right. 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 Okay. Yeah, it's giving off. Because perception is reality though.
It is.
Uh, do you think okay with social media and you know and all that, do you feel like social media destroyed like dating though? Like the expectations of dating?
I I feel it in some ways. Um, I mean, it could be a good. Social media can and dating could be good, and it can be bad. It just depends on how you're doing it.
When I say that, when I say that, because I think because for the most part, people feel like they got a limited amount of options now. They got unlimited resources, options. You know, a lot of females feel like you know they young and they pretty or whatever. They 25 and then their prime years, you know, they 25, 26, and they think the party never ends. And for somebody who's older, you know, and mature, older, can you tell them like the downside when they think they have these unlimited amount of options? Can you give them the downside of that?
I mean, as far as they always wanting to party and things like that.
No, when I'm saying the downside, they always have options. They always have guys chasing after them.
No,
They always
you're not gonna have always someone chasing after you. You know, those nice bodies sometimes they go away.
right. But
You know?
let me finish though. They always feel like because they look young, pretty, thin, the titties is right there, the ass is there, and they young and vibrant and hip. They can always have these guys approaching them. They always gonna have the same amount of guys loving them and texting them and calling them. They always gonna have a roster. Can you get them the downside of that? Though? Go ahead.
The downside to that is that's not gonna always happen. At some point, that's gonna end, and at some point, you should want it to end. You know, the older you get, you should want things to be different. It's not gonna stay the same. I mean, your body changed, the mindset changed, life changed, everything changed. Everything changed. So that mindset is going to change also eventually. You know what I'm saying? It's sometimes the younger generation, that's how they feel. Like you said, it's the body, it's the breast, it's this, it's that. He's looking at this, he's looking at that. But sometimes when they're looking at that, they're not looking at this at all. This is all they see. But it'll change. It'll change.
Do
The
you feel
older,
like they already blew their chance on Mr. Right because they were chasing the bad boys and the assholes?
sometimes we got to change Mr. Right to know what's good. We got to
No,
change Mr. Wrong to know what's when we see Mr. Right.
no, I definitely don't believe that. I don't agree with that. I don't believe that because doing that, they end up with 4, 5 baby daddies, and
No, not
then they be
necessarily. Not necessarily because honestly, I don't have two
wait,
kids.
wait. We're not talking about you. Wait. We're not talking about you personally. We're just saying in general. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get the individualism out. I'm saying for the most part, if they decide to take this route, they decided they got 4, 5 kids, they're 50 plus years of age, and they're saying in the feminist group saying where all the good men is at, and you blew your chance on this right because you were chasing this certain type of man,
Mm-hmm.
and these are the consequences. I'm saying not for everybody, but for a lot of women, if they had to go back and change it, they would have.
Yeah. True. True. That's very true. Because I'm not even in that situation. But if it's certain things, if I could go back and change, I would. I would. Even though I'm not in that situation, I would.
Yeah, we ain't talking about. I'm just saying, there's a lot of women out there with 4, 5 baby daddies, and they fit 45 plus, and they saying the good men are either gay, they in jail, or they're married, which is I think is straight bullshit. If you ask me,
It is.
that's the worst.
It is.
That's it came from. I'm gonna let you go in a minute. It came from feminist movies like Waiting to Exhale and Color Purple bullshit that put in black women's mind that the gay, they in jail, or they already married, they on the down low. These movies change their perception. You agree on that? Like because I think that's just a total lie right there. They've been feed.
I feel it is total. It's you're right. It's a total lie. Let's be honest. It's a movie and it's the perception, as you say. It's still good men out here. It is. It's good men out here waiting for good women. They looking for the same thing we looking for. So
Right.
yeah, you're right. It's a perception that
I don't believe in changing Mr. Wrong. I mean, that's your opinion. I can't change your opinion, but I believe, if people would take dating more serious in their youth, like you should, you want to. I feel like you should date with a person to get married, and you date with a person to get married in your youth, y'all grow old together, and y'all won't have a lot of issues though, because you've been dealing with so many people. He's been dealing with people. That's why I think a lot of people get divorced because they've been dealing with so many people before they got with their spouse, and those issues that they didn't recover from, they come back, and now it's a mess. You understand what I'm
I
saying?
do. But let me ask you a question. Did you grow up with both mom and dad in the house?
I did. I did.
Okay, so you're
Oh,
gonna
I
take
was blessed to have
and
that.
you're gonna take married life and you're going to take relationships different than others. You understand what everybody's not going to reason I'm saying that because you saw different.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a whole lot to it.
If you probably saw different. Some women only had they only can go by what they saw. They only
we can't go by that though. We gotta stop this generational curses and say, "Oh, what I seen," because this right here is affecting the children.
it is.
Because if all we passing down is generational curses, you may seen that growing up, but you should want for the better. You shouldn't have to settle for this right here. Uh, your child shouldn't have to see her mama coming out the room with different men every other day, or the son shouldn't have to see that with mommy and daddy doing it. They
That's
shouldn't have to see it.
but what's going to make it change?
The choices will make that change.
But they're not making those choices.
I know they're not because it's out of selfishness. And then in the process of that,
They're not
the
making those
kids
choices.
in the process of that, they're creating bastard kids, and they got a place for them called prison, and they're waiting on them.
I got a
Especially
place for them too. They're called foster homes because I'm a foster parent, so I deal with it every day. So it's not,
that too.
yeah, it's not
And,
that they have. You're right. I'm a foster parent, so I deal with this. This is I know this. So you're right. You're totally right. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. Let me say this too. I'm gonna let you go in a minute. And they fail to realize, especially with these black boys, especially if they can't read at a certain age. By fourth grade, a lot of black boys reading at a fourth grade reading level, so if they can't read, they're putting them in what you call these prison systems, and they building more prisons based on the fact that they can't read. especially 72% of children are born out of wedlock in the black community. So there's abandon. They saying it's a father abandonment, but I also believe there's a mother abandonment as well, because
Yeah.
I believe a lot of these pink people, these women are having these kids out of the wrong reasons. They're having them for selfish reasons and for the feel voids and comfort in life, and instead of having them out of nurture and love, they're having them for, they're treating these kids like animals,
Mm-hmm.
like a dog, because they lonely and they don't understand what they sign themselves up for. And in the process, the kids are suffering, so they're creating perpetuating a vicious cycle. Well, go ahead. I just want to say that.
No, yeah, no, I agree with you. I do, I agree. And some of them are using them as, I don't want to say baits, but chicks.
Pawns.
Chicks. Also, that. And like I said, and we have so many kids in the system here in Birmingham alone. And the bad thing about it, some of the parents I see that the girls have, they have one taken away, then another one taken away, then another one taken away. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, when, like you said, that generational curse, when is this gonna stop?
With choices. It only starts with choices.
But at this point, I don't. At this point, after the fifth baby, or
And we see this is another thing too. The gut. Well, I'm gonna get back to the question too, but this is the whole long process in itself. The government rewards women for the terrible mistakes, but goddamn put men in prison for theirs. And this is a little secret too for everybody who will watch this on YouTube. A lot of these guys don't want to have these kids. A lot of these women get pregnant to try to keep the man and keep the child for paychecks, so they can be in control. A lot of women have these kids because they don't want to look weird either. So you see a woman about 31, 32 who ain't got nothing, so they'll go around and try to have a baby, so they don't look weird around their friends, their peers, their mothers in them, their friends. So they had this baby, knowing that the man don't want to keep the child, knowing that he ain't gonna be there, and they're having these children off how the man looks because they want to have pretty babies.
true, but he also need to scrap it up also, because I feel like
Oh yeah,
this.
yeah.
Don't want
But at the end of the day,
scrap it also. I mean, we can't put the blame. The blame got to go 50-50.
wait. Let me say. I agree. It's they too to make the baby, but I always say this right here: the woman has the final say so and authority
He does.
on whether or not that child is going to be born. I say this all the time: women choose their baby daddies, the men choose wives,
Yeah.
and that's why the feminist group is outraged, because they're trying to have this hate group against men because they can't choose their husbands. They can only choose to be baby mamas and sex. That's the only thing women have access to is sex and kids.
That's them. You understand? That's what they choose. You feel me? That's why I choose to run mine. I'm totally different. That's what they choose. I wasn't, like I said. The generations are so different. Even at our age, the way you feel on some stuff, I just was raised a hardcore way. I just was raised a woman should be noticed by a man. A woman should not be always heard. She should be seen.
Right, right.
Carry herself in a certain way. A woman, and a lot of that stuff is out the window. Now the grandmas at the club with the daughters.
Yeah, it's a mess right now. You got because there's no more big mamas. All the big mamas dead.
No more big mama. It's glamour now.
They just want to be young. They want to be lit. They want to be on TikTok twerking with the grandkids. They want to be getting lit. It's just a mess right now, and the children are suffering. I feel sorry for the kids. I don't care about the adults. I feel sorry for these children who growing up in this disenfranchised environment, and they got to grow up seeing their parents go through this. Right? They don't have no love. That's why these kids end up shooting up. They on gangs. They on drugs and dropping out of school because they don't feel love.
They're not. A lot of them are not being loved. I mean, and not just Jefferson County. We got them out of all kinds of Madison County, Blount County. They coming from everywhere, and they're not being loved. They're not.
They don't have that right there. Why is an unemployed mother called a dedicated parent and an unemployed father called a bum?
They call unemployed mothers a what? A dedicated what?
Dedicated parent, and they call the unemployed fathers
Okay, this is
bums.
my first time hearing it. So why are they calling the mother dedicated? Because she's home with the kid?
Typically, yeah. Typically.
And they're calling the daddy because he's what? Not providing for the kid?
Well, they say if a dad is at home, they usually call him a bum or a freeloader or whatever. For the most cases, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, to be honestly, I don't agree, because you have some men can do better job than the women. Being honest, you can send some of the women to work and leave daddy at home and do a better job.
Mm.
So I feel like with that being said, like that is people come up with their self. You get what I'm saying? It's not always true. It's just something people come up with because that's not true. That's not true at all.
Right. And, and why is like that though? You believe that a man can't be a stay at home dad, but we can't stay at home mother though? I don't
I,
understand.
I feel that we can have stay at home dad. To be honest, I had majority. I was raised. I didn't have my father in my life just growing up. I had my uncles, and they did an awesome job. They did.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I understood and dealt with them better than I could with the women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So it's not, it can't be just one way where a man can't raise it. Yes, they can. Sometimes they can do better jobs. Some of them more patient, more understanding.
And it's very sad though because usually they don't want the man that had custody of the child. They label men as the molesters. They just want the check from. They're gonna touch on the kids, and I just think that's unfair.
I think that
And
I had a family member went through that, and I felt it was so unfair to him. But in all, it ended up where he still ended up winning that because he was the fit parent. You get what I'm saying? It was made it seem like he don't need him because he just wanted, and he was the best parent for them.
right.
So just because they're the mother, that don't mean they're good for him.
And that's terrible. I wish the court system would see this that just because their mothers don't mean they're good parents. These mothers aren't good parents. Because how they good parents when black boys are still going to prison and wind up in prison? What's good for the child is to have the mother and the father in the household.
Yeah.
That's the best scenario, period. I don't care. You say what?
That's the best scenario. Let me ask you a question. You being a man, and people sometimes criticize me about this. I'm a foster parent, as I told you, but I decided not to take boys. It wasn't that because I don't love boys or I don't like boys, but in my household, it's so girly that
Mm-hmm.
now I just want to ask your opinion because I had got feed and lashback on this bad. In my household, I have wigs, lashes, fingernail polish, glue. You know, get what I'm saying? I have pink stuff. My room's pink. I have pink
Right.
toilet.
I mean, I look at it like, I mean, that's your opinion. I feel like they need to get more boys. If I ever adopt in the future, it'd be a boy. Because when most people go to the doctors and they ask for the gender of the baby, they usually tell the doctor they want to have a girl instead of a boy. So that's another crisis going on. It's just a whole boy crisis in the world, though. Like, it's a terrible boys crisis. Like, is going on. And these boys, there's more boys dropping out of school. There's a lot of homeless men out here. Nobody cares about the men.
And
They don't care about the males. They care about saving whales more than care about the males.
but the only reason I didn't take a boy because I'm not married. I don't have a man to help me. I'm not saying I cannot raise that child, but I would like to have. If I have a boy in the home, I want that male figure there too. It's
Right,
things,
right.
and I can't give him.
Okay,
I
okay, cool.
be around fingernails and purses and polish, and it give him a different perception of this is what I supposed to be doing.
Right. Okay, cool.
That was the only reason I didn't take it. It wasn't because I don't love.
I'm gonna let you get yours out at the end. Let me finish asking these. I'm gonna let you get yours out at the end. When men talk together, it's called a conversation. Hold up, when women talk together, it's called a conversation. No, when men talk together, it's called a conversation. But women talk, why is it called gossip?
Because 9 out of 10 we gossiping.
How you define gossip though? Is it talking about somebody it's untrue, or is it stuff is true?
Both. Gossiping is either one. You're gossiping. You just telling what you heard and what you thought. Girl, I just thought I heard. That's gossiping. Most of the time when you get men in a conversation, they won't gossip. They won't, girl, I heard, or here, I man, did you hear? They usually just talking, man. You know, we talked to John and he wasn't doing too good. You know what I'm saying? It's just they carry their conversation differently than women. That's why they consider it gossiping. It's the way they carry it out.
Right. Okay. Do you feel like prostitution should be legal in America?
No, can I can I say something without being? Oh my God, I don't want to say nothing to get us banned. Or
Nah. What was what I say?
do I think it's already legal? The Kardashians selling ass everywhere. They ain't never high price hookers,
I mean, OnlyFans is already out here, so I mean,
huh?
I said OnlyFans is out here like in every other girl bio and every girl's bio. Damn near, so they're already selling
They
it.
they been selling it. They just carried it up to a different level now. They've been selling it. It's just at a different level now.
Right,
Now it's not just selling it to live. Now they selling it to get the nails done.
right. They're selling it to get lashes and wigs, all
Yeah,
type of
yeah, they're
bullshit.
not selling it to get a little light bill and keep the roof for the children fed, food for the children doing. No, no, no. They selling
But
it.
don't you feel like if a female sells her body at that point, it's so many ways to get money out. Even if you got kids, don't you feel like if you're selling your body out here, you'll do anything for money? You would kill somebody, rob somebody, set up somebody to get killed. Like you ain't got no morals or no soul at that point.
Well, I can't say that because I have seen people and family members sell their body, but they never. They did the harm to themselves, but they never put anyone else in harm. So, you get what I'm saying. They didn't try to set anyone up. They didn't try to rob. They did harm just only to themselves. The damage they did to themselves. So it just depends on what mind frame they in. You got some people that sell their body and only the body.
Hmm.
So it just depends on what mind frame they in.
You feel like only women want to get objectified if they getting paid for sex, like stripping and OnlyFans?
Only women.
Yeah. You feel like that's the only time they want to be objectified if they getting paid for